Hi all, today we are going to discuss about Carey-Foster bridge, which is also called as Heyd-Willer bridge. So it is basically designed by the Carey-Foster bridge in the initially and then modified by the Heyd-Willer bridge to measure for the case of AC bridge. That means Heyd-Willer is the main person which has converted to bridge to be useful for AC circuits. But in order to differentiate, it is known as the Carey-Foster bridge if used for measurement of capacitance, unknown capacitance in terms of standard mutual inductance, and it is called as Heyd-Willer bridge if it is used for measurement of mutual inductance in terms of standard capacitance. That means if you are measuring the mutual inductance, it is called as Heyd-Willer bridge, and if you are measuring the value of capacitance, it is called as Carey-Foster bridge. Only that is the difference between these two. So this bridge construction will be like this. There will be a mutual inductor and this will be connected like this, that M and L, they will be connected in series opposition. Okay, that means if the current is entering the dot of one coil, the current will leave the dot of another coil. That means if you are taking, for example, here you can see the dot, it is leaving this current I1, whereas in the primary side the current is entering the dot. Because this current is I1 plus I2, this I1 plus I2 enters the dot. So, and another thing is one side of the branch, that means this particular branch is short circuited. There is no element connected here, and here one capacitor is also used. Here in this case, one capacitor is also used. Let us try to draw the phasor diagram. Once the phasor diagram is over, then we will go for the balance equations and the other things. Or we can write the balance equation, then go for the phasor diagram, both on one and the same. So, let us write the basic balance equations, then we will go for the phasor diagram. So under balanced condition, we can tell the value of this current will be equal to this current. That means same current whatever is coming here will leave here. Similarly, whatever current I2 is coming, this current will leave here. Or we can tell that potential difference between point B and D will be 0. That means the voltage between AB will be equal to voltage between AD, and similarly voltage between B and C will be equal to voltage between D and C. So we can write under balanced condition, we can tell that I1 multiplied by R3 plus 1 by j omega C3, because in this branch voltage of BC, this will be equal to voltage of DC. What is voltage of DC? This will be I2 multiplied by R4. So let us take it as equation number 2. So similarly, second condition, that means in the primary side, the second branch I can write as I1 multiplied by, so what are there? R1 plus j omega L1, R1 plus j omega L1. So minus I1 plus I2 times of the mutual inductance, because it is having negatively coupled, that's why I have written minus. So this will be equal to, so here what is there? There is no element, so automatically this value will be equal to 0. This value will be equal to 0. So this I am taking as equation number 2. So this I am taking as equation number 2. So this further we will simplify later on. So let us try to draw the phasor diagram, so then we will proceed further with these equations. So for drawing the phasor diagram, we have to take something as a reference. So I am taking the current I1 as my reference. So this is my current I1 as my reference. So I am taking the current I1 as my reference. So you can see in this branch, so I1 multiplied by R3, I am keeping here. This is I1 multiplied by R3. Then I1 multiplied by R3. Then what are the other things I got? Plus I1 divided by j omega C3, or j I can bring to the numerator. So this will become equal to minus j by omega C3. So for this I will add minus j times of I1 by, so let me write it properly, I1 divided by omega C3. Minus j means it will be negative imaginary axis. So the sum of these two, that will give my value of this total value that is dropping here. So this entire, this sum, so this will give my value of, so let us write this equation. So let us take it as E3, and this one I am taking as E1. So this is nothing but equal to E3, or what is E3? E3 is nothing but equal to E4. E4 is I2 multiplied by R4. This E3 is equal to E4 is equal to I2 multiplied by R4. What is the meaning of I2 multiplied by R4? Because we know that drop across the resistor will be in phase with the current. So we can tell the current I2 is lying in the same axis. So this is my value of I2. So this is my value of I2. So now the sum of I1 plus I2, that gives your resultant value of the current. So the sum of I1 plus I2, So this gives your sum I is equal to I1 plus I2. Sum is equal to I1 plus I2. So let us apply the equation here for this equation. So here I am writing this current that is passing is I1. So it will be in this only. So this will be I1 multiplied by R1. I1 multiplied by R1. So for this I1 multiplied by R1, I have to add J times of I1 multiplied by J omega L1. So this will be plus J times of I1 multiplied by omega into L1. So this is done. So for this one, what is the remaining part that is there? Minus I1 plus I2 times of N. That means minus I1 plus I2 times of M. So this will be J omega is missing here. J omega into I1 plus I2 times of M. So that will be added here. This will be minus J times of I1 plus I2 times of omega into M. I1 plus I2 into omega into M. Minus J means, so this is my value of I1 plus I2. Minus J means it will come here. So same parallel axis I have written. So this is my value of imaginary axis. This is minus J times of I1 plus I2 will come. Okay, so that is the reason it is coming here. Getting it? So now you can see here the entire thing I1 R1, J times of I1 omega L1 minus J times of I1 plus I2 into omega into mutual inductance. So that entire sum becomes equal to 0. So this is equal to this one. So this is equal to 0. So I hope this is clear to you how to draw the phasor diagram. So let us proceed further with these equations for simplification. So now this equation number 2 further I am simplifying. So this I can write as separate into I1 and I2 terms. So this I can write as I1 multiplied by R1 plus J omega into L1 minus M. This will be equal to J omega into M into I2, because when it comes to the second side it becomes plus. So this I am taking as equation number 3. So now what I am doing, I am taking the ratio of equation number 3 divided by equation number 1. So this will become equal to R1 plus J omega into L1 minus M. So this will be divided by equation number 1 is R3 plus 1 by J omega C3. So on the right hand side if you are dividing, this will be J omega M divided by, this is R4. J omega M divided by R4. So now what I am doing, I am doing the cross multiplication of this one. So this will become equal to R4 into R1 plus J omega into L1 minus M times of R4. This will be equal to J omega M into R3 plus, so J omega will cancel. So this will become M divided by C3. So now comparing the real and imaginary terms on both the sides. So we can tell this as R4 R1. This will be equal to M divided by C3. R4 R1 is equal to M divided by C3. Or from this I can tell that M is equal to R1 R4 into C3. R1 R4 into C3. So let us take it as equation number 3 is already done. So we are taking this as equation number 4. So we got the equation for the mutual inductance. So now the second part, comparing the imaginary terms, we can tell that L1 minus M times of R4 is equal to M times of R3. L1 minus M times of R4 is equal to M times of R3. Or from this we can tell that L1 is equal to M into R3 plus R4, because MR3, MR4, like M times of R3 plus R4 divided by R4. So let us take it as equation number 5. So now what I am doing, this value of M from equation number 4 I am substituting in equation number 5. So this I can write as L1 will be equal to, substitute this one. So this will be R1 R4 C3 into R3 plus R4 divided by R4. Or from this I can write my value of L1 is equal to R4 will cancel. This will be R1 into C3 into R3 plus R4. So this is my value of the L1, and in this way we can calculate the value of the self inductance. So value of the inductance L1. So let us assume if I want to measure the value of the capacitance, instead of this L1 and M, I want to measure the value of the capacitance. So in how to measure this one? Because that is called as the second bridge. So if the bridge is used for measurement of capacitance, so in that case, from equation number 4, we can tell that the value of C3 will be equal to M divided by R1 R4. So this is done. And from equation number 5, we can calculate the value of R3 will be equal to R4 into, if you simplify this, you will get it as L1 minus M divided by M. L1 minus M divided by M. So in this way, we can calculate the value of the capacitance C3, and R3 will be the loss component of this capacitor. Because if it is a capacitor, if it is a loss component, if it is a perfect or proper capacitor, so in that case, we will connect one resistor R3 in series with the capacitor. If you are measuring the inductance, that means mutual inductance as well as the self inductance of the coil. Okay, and if you want to measure the value of the capacitance, actually it is a capacitor only. This R3 indicates what is the value of loss component of this capacitor. So what is loss component of the capacitor? That we have already discussed in measurement of the capacitor topics. So I hope the Cary-Foster bridge or Head-Willer bridge is completely clear to you. If you still have any queries, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I will answer to your queries from there. Thank you very much.